Bravo 2 of Bravo Team Airsoft, and yes, I do exist. Let's talk about my seal kit today. So we're doing late war seal kit, so about 68 onwards. This is an impression level kit, which means it's as close as possible, but it's not reenactor level. Some things like repro, some things are real. It's just all in what I can consider my price range, because I don't want to go too far and start buying real stuff. It's expensive. I do have 15 other kits that I'm working on or I've built up, so I've got to accommodate that into each one. So I'm going to start this off by talking about some guns. So the most common gun, or one of the most common guns you see, will be the XM177, the K15. E1s and E2s we use quite a lot, but you know, you've seen that a million times. You know what one of them looks like. If not, you look at any other video. They'll pop up in any other Bravo Team Airsoft video. The next one that I'm going to talk about is this, and this is the K15 Prototype that was used by SEALs, amongst other people. I don't know how well favoured it was. It was used quite scarcely for the pictures that I've got of it. However, it was used, and it's quite a unique looking gun, and one of the first attempts of crossing over to make like a carbine length weapon. So it's pretty decent. It's got no fencing on it because you can tell it's an early model. So that's one of the guns. So next up, I'm going to talk about this, which is another attempt that was made to make a more short carbine version of an M16. And this is it was designated the Colt 605, which is basically a shorter barreled M16 A1. So the barrel only goes over here, just after the fucking iron sight. This one's got a suppressor on just because it's an MP5, M16 SD version. So yeah, it's used quite early to mid-war, just like field tested by SEALs. Quite a couple of pictures are out there using it. Talking like advisory era as well, so like duck camo that SEALs were using at the time, quite unique looking. Next up, there was AK models. So this is the Type 56. All the AK models were used, and they were used by pointmen, so that if they saw the enemy and engaged with the enemy, any other nearby surrounding enemy would only hear like AK fire and not presume it's like the American forces. So the pointman carried an AK in SEAL teams. Not always the case, but that's just going off of some intel that I've got on teams. After that, I'm going to talk about this, which is everyone's favourite Navy SEAL Vietnam gun, the Stoner LMG. Absolutely loved by the SEALs, although it required a lot of maintenance to keep the thing going. But I mean, there's just loads of pictures of SEALs using these, and they can use quite a lot in each team. Like 12-man teams would be like 4 of these in each team. Just yeah, very unique, iconic gun for Navy SEALs in Vietnam. Another one would be the M16A1, but again, you've seen it a million times. There's nothing new there. You can check out other videos. It's the most common Vietnam gun that there is. And then there's this. So this is originally it's a HK33, and it's had the handguard removed from the triangular Moderna handguard to a rounded handguard, which was used at the time. This one's from a G3, an LCT G3, that I've custom cut down and made it fit to this HK33, because I'm replicating the Navy SEAL known as Al Ashton, and he carried the Harrington and Richards T223, which is basically an American-made version of the HK33. So it basically looks exactly the same as this. He used it with 40 round magazines. There's quite a few. Well, there's one picture from slightly different angles of him doing a prisoner capture, carrying this with 40 round magazine and the bag that goes with it. So yeah, and he just used a basic paracord sling on his. So I basically tried to replicate it best I can. Obviously I only have this type of magazine because this is what's produced at the moment. But I may in the future try and get parts of another one and make a full size, full length 40 round magazine for it. And in terms of pistols, not massively common, but anything that would be common if it wasn't bought from overseas and brought over would be a bog standard 1911 A1. Not much to say about this. It's kind of just a pistol everyone's seen. This is a very bog standard version you'd probably buy, but as you can see, it's very worn. So I've had it about 6 years now, I think. So there's that. Just going to talk quickly about team structure of Navy SEALs. So in a 12-man team, the point man, as I said earlier, would carry like an AK, because if he engages with the enemy, he'll hear the enemy will, any surrounding enemy will hear the sound of the AK and not recognise it as American forces. So that give them a bit of time. Then they'd have roughly 2 M16 K15 models. The models were used either by the team leader and the RTO, I think, were the main 2 that used that. And then for the rest of the men, to get the high-end firepower, there'd be roughly 4 stoners and 4 M60s in a 12-man squad. So then squads would then split into 2 separate 6-man teams. So then you got like a hell of a lot of firepower for that. Moving on to the next part, I'm going to talk about uniform. So Erdls, late war 68 onwards, Erdls were phasing out the Tigers. So the Erdls are the most common seen for that time period. However, Tigers were still around too. What guys would do is get the Erdl shirt like this, and then cut off these bottom pockets, tuck them into the trousers, more comfortable and make them a bit more mobility. Just to note as well that mixing Tigers and Erdls weren't as common as you think it would be. To say that there's both patterns out there, they're just generally kind of stuck with Tigers and Erdl and Erdl. Gloves weren't too common, but as it's airsoft, you know, use it to your whatever's your specifications you need for it. I like wearing fingerless gloves. They're quite comfortable for gripping weapons for a long time if you do a milsim, something like that. But they're not that common if you want to do it to an almost reenacted level. Jeans. So everyone thinks straight away Navy SEALs in Vietnam. Jeans, carry jeans on us. So there's just some details about the jeans. They were fairly common, but obviously Erdl bottoms are still used with Erdls and Tigers bottoms are still used with Tigers. They were hemmed and cut, so there'd be the right length and hemmed, you know, seamed and sewed at bottom to make them like not too baggy, not too long or too baggy, or they were just cut, literally just cut down to like ankle length. So there is pictures of them being turned up a lot, and a lot of people replicate the jeans by turning up the jeans to make it look a lot more like some pictures. However, that wasn't actually that much common. It is in photos, but actually in the field and used at the time, it wasn't that often that they turn them up. Also, another thing is they were blue and like proper Levi blue, not like faded and stain washed. That happened over time as obviously the course of the tour went on. The jeans themselves and the weather conditions got warm and got lighter and everything like that. So if you try to replicate, you're alright using dark pairs of jeans than you are using, say, you know, your mum's jeans that are like bright fucking blue. So another thing as well is the Tigers and jeans. While seen, it's not that common. It's more common for an Erdl shirt and jeans to be put together. So let's talk about my webbing next. So this is just a basic webbing set that I put together for doing my impression of Navy SEALs. So obviously got the M56 suspenders. These are the long ones. So I'm quite a big guy. I prefer the long ones. Sit placement right on them. It's got some M56 ammo pouches. One canteen cover, because canteen covers later in the war, they're going out on short missions that are a few hours long, maybe tops. So they need to carry extra water and extra weight. It's just not there. One canteen was more than enough to keep me going for the short amount of missions that they were doing. I've got a first aid kit here. I believe this is a Marine one, but something very similar was used by Navy SEALs. I've got my 911 holster from my 911 that I carry. Maybe not that common carrying 911s on the webbing, but you know, it's airsoft and always having a good sidearm is useful, but also it's not that uncommon that you wouldn't see it, so I've left it on. And another M56 ammo pouch. These are all repro, by the way. No original ones actually on this set kit. And then I've got a knife sheath as well. all on an M56 webbing belt. So some things to note about the webbing is that you generally wear the webbing a lot higher up on your body than you would with other kits, and that's so that they can bend over and go prone and jump in and out of the boats very much easier than they could if you wore your webbing like belt and everything lower. Pouches were also set more aside on towards your hips rather than at the front that you see like every other impression do. You sit your ammo quite forward, but these ones were like hips on the back, so that basically go prone a lot easier. And again, jumping in and out of boats and stuff like that, it makes it easier. There were no butt packs used. I mean, there were, but not very rare. There were very rarely. And there is a picture somewhere of a Navy SEAL using a butt pack as an ammo bag, and he just attached it to the side of his webbing and just filled it full of ammo. That's a one-time incident that I know that exists for a late war version of using a butt pack, but other than that, never used. Again, for rucksacks as well. They're going out on short missions. You're doing the mission and you're getting back on the boat and you're going back home, well, back to base. So you're not going to need like a massive rucksack full of all the gear and kit, because you're just doing short direct action missions type things. So that's one set of webbing I've made up, and I'm working on another set which just go with my Stoner. So on this, at the moment it's very basic, so I'm building it up still. So a knife sheath again, one water bottle, canteen cover, and one ammo pouch. And in this ammo pouch I'm going to cut and modify. So Stoner magazine boxes will fit in here, however the lid won't close. So what they did was either cut the lid off and tie it down using some paracord, or you could just tie down the lid using some paracord and hold the ammo in there. Also, they may carry extra canteen covers but not actual canteens to carry ammo in, 5.56, 7.62 if you're using the M60. So that was another way to do it. So if you see more than one water bottle pouch, chances are that it is because one's actually carrying water and the rest are carrying ammo. Claymore bags were also used as well to carry extra ammo for any rifle and thing to be used. So yeah, that's basically what I'm putting together for a Stoner kit. It'll just be a belt. I may put a holster on here in the future, I'm not too sure, just to beef it out a bit, but it's something I'm working on, and obviously I'm going to put a Stoner box magazine in there with ammo. So just another quick thing to note as well, if you're slinging a weapon, use your sling, because there's pictures out there of guys are using, like even reenactors using guns and just having the swing dangling. That's just going to snag on trees and stuff. Just don't do it, guys. And also sling your weapon a lot higher. It tends to be that you see a lot of pictures. You'll see they're all doing it like basically to the rib cage or that kind of area. So you have a like higher loaded weapon. Okay, so we can talk about extra stuff to go with your uniform and base layer. The AK chest rig we use, obviously the AKs. I use this to go with my T22 Fruity at the moment to carry the magazines, because my pouches are quite deep enough for it and they're basically AK shaped and styled. So I'll wear this along with my M56 webbing, just a way to carry ammo. It's pretty good. I always wear a bandana on my head, in different forms. Sometimes I'll do the full size, sometimes I'll just do the basic one wrapped around my head. This is pretty common, seen a lot by Navy SEALs. Claymore bag, used to carry extra ammo, grenades, and of course claymores as well. And then I've got a big belt of 5.56 for going with this. Obviously, if I'm a Stoner, I'm carrying a lot of ammo, so I can wear this over me. Obviously there were maybe 2, 3 lots of it to carry ammo, or put it in your canteen pouches so that you can replicate carrying like 100 rounds of 5.56. Put it inside your Stoner boxes, or even in just in pouches, and yeah, so that's another thing. So there's some stuff to say that I'm going to beef up my kit. I'm going to hopefully make a hush puppy of some kind, some sort of Smith & Wesson type suppressed weapon, and a holster to go with that. I'm going to put some Mark 13 flares, sellotape them, well, camo tape them to my knife sheaths. I'm going to make an M27A1 flare that'll go on the back of my webbing straps. Hopefully I can get a hold of a life preserver, or maybe even make my own, just to sell more of that look, and obviously maybe make a 40 round, 35 round HK33 magazine to go in my T223. This is just a general basic overview. There's always exceptions to this information, but this is a general consensus of the information that I've gathered for doing a Navy SEAL type loadout. I'm always learning and obviously adjusting my kit to stuff that I've learned, so I'll be happy to know if some stuff I've said may be wrong, or some stuff you guys know that I need to add to my kit or something like that. So this is Bravo 2 for Bravo Team Airsoft, and that's my Navy SEAL kit.